to the cabaret.
Cet air qui m'obsède jour et nuit, cet air n'est pas né d'aujourd'hui. Il vient d'aussi loin que je viens, traîné par 100 000 musiciens. Un jour cet air me rendra folle, 100 fois j'ai voulu dire pourquoi, mais il m'a coupé la parole. Il parle toujours avant moi et sa voix couvre ma voix. Padam, 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 il arrive en courant derrière moi. Padam, 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 il me fait le coup du souviens-toi. Padam, 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 c'est un air qui me montre du doigt et je traîne après moi comme une drôle d'erreur cet air qui sait tout par cœur. Battre les gestes, toute la comédie des amours sur cette terre qui va toujours. Padam, 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 des je t'aime de 14 juillet. Padam, 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 des toujours qu'on achète au rabais. Padam, 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 des veux-tu en voilà par paquet. Et tout ça pour tomber juste au coin de la rue, sur l'air qui m'a reconnu. Écoutez le chahut qu'il me fait, comme si tout mon passé
sitting alone in your room. Come hear the music play. When I was a little girl, I had a rag doll.
I am LadyBEAST. I am a circus artist, producer, movement researcher, and a fantastic spectacle. I'm on a lifelong quest to make circus relevant in this modern world as the generations before me have. Traditionally, a spectacle is an event, exhibition, or production that visually impacts its audience. But I believe it to be so much more than that. And I'm going to show and tell you how. Okay. Circuses have been around as entertainment and have been written into the stories of history. For thousands of years, people have been mystified and immersed by the magic of acrobats, clowns, and specialty artists with all types of obscure skills. Their stories began in the home. It was a trade passed down, a lifelong mentorship, and moved into traveling circus tents, and now it's a culture one can identify with. Circus is relevant. In times of strife or crisis in our country or our world, entertainment such as circus is an opportunity to see heroes who make the impossible possible. And I see it that way. We are your escape from the world around you, and we're your inspiration for change. Now, I wasn't born into the circus. I came into it later. My father, a powerful athlete, and my mother was an incredible visual artist. And circus allowed me to marry my two passions that I inherited from my parents. In a series of serendipitous events, I met one of my mentors who trained me in escape artistry and 7 of Houdini's top 10. I trained with coaches near and afar in all sorts of specialty skills. I tell stories with my body. I am the embodiment of my work. Spectacles used to be seen in traveling shows. You would see a tight wire artist flipping and landing on his feet, or an aerialist tumbling to the ground only to catch themselves at the last second. This is a moment where the audience feels awe, where the impossible becomes believable. It is that way. It's believable. Today, I take very calculated risks. I rely on my muscle memory, my training, and the understanding of my craft in order to catch myself from my fall. It's so much more than just training, but I train for 4 to 6 hours a day on various movement arts to tell these stories. What I do is the fusion of performance art and physical ability. Telling stories, sharing narratives is the other half of my work. It is so powerful to me to create a world, even for 5 minutes, for my audience to be captured by. And even more important to me is the art of movement than the tricks that I spend countless hours training. I really try to make my audiences feel something, and feel something so much so that they want to do something in their own lives to create change and a ripple. Leona Dare. Leona Dare was an idol of mine. You likely have never heard of her, because oftentimes it's the act that's remembered and not the name. And even still, the act's not remembered. But Leona, she was a trapeze artist. And to take her act to new heights, she hung her trapeze from the bottom of a hot air balloon. And if that wasn't enough, she wasn't hanging by her arms or her legs, but by a mouth bit. Now, this is very compelling to see by today's standards, but even more so in the late 1800s, when these types of death-defying acts weren't performed by women. Leona, she's my LadyBEAST. I wanted to take my inspiration from Leona and create my own fantastic spectacle. So, I became the first woman to escape from a straitjacket hanging by my ankles from a hot air balloon. How did I do that? Well, I was straitjacketed in. I got pulled into the air nearly 100 feet, and then I escaped. I righted myself up, I climbed up, and I hung by my elbow, and I unclipped all of my safety harnesses, and then I descended to the ground safely. This act caused quite a stir with the audience that saw it, but even more so because I had a surprise message for them on the cape that I flew over the crowd. It was a call to action for all to see, and it stated, "Radical action, radical change." I'm doing my work on the stage to preserve the history of movement arts through my body, my choreography, my costuming, my props, and my music. I'm creating a world, and I want you to join me in it. My performance art comes to life when I have you as my audience, and I will do everything for it. I was a woman bound in the air, struggling against the odds to liberate myself from the straitjacket. And I'm compelled to do so because I want you to do radical actions and radical changes in your life and to be your own LadyBEAST. Thank you.